Pilgrims and the Power Francis's funeral. Applause rings out as late pontiff's wooden coffin carried from altar of St. Peter's Basilica for open-air ceremony. Pope Francis has been eulogized as a pope among the people, with an open heart towards everyone during a funeral mass that brought together an array of mourners, from pilgrims and refugees to powerful world leaders and royals. Francis, 88, died on Monday after a stroke and subsequent heart failure, setting into motion a series of centuries-old rituals and a huge, meticulously planned logistical and security operation not seen in Italy since the funeral of John Paul II in April 2005. The crowd erupted into applause as the late pontiff's wooden coffin was carried from the altar of the 16th-century St. Peter's Basilica, where it had laid in state for 3 days, by 14 white-gloved pallbearers and into the square for the open-air ceremony. Applause also rang out when the Italian Cardinal Giovanni Battista Re, who presided over the funeral mass, spoke of Francis's care for immigrants, his constant pleas for peace, the need for negotiations to end wars and the importance of the climate. Under a blue sky, more than 250,000 pilgrims descended on the Vatican, with the crowd stretching along Via della Conciliazione, the road connecting the Italian capital with the Vatican. Among the pilgrims were Rosa Cirielli and her friend Pina Sanarico, who left their homes in Taranto, in southern Italy, at 5 a.m., and managed to secure themselves a decent position in front of a huge TV screen. "When Pope Francis was alive, he gave us hope. Now we have this huge hole," said Cirielli. "He left us during a very ugly period for the world. He was the only one who loudly called for peace." The pilgrims were joined by leaders from more than 150 countries, including the U.S. President, Donald Trump, who had repeatedly clashed with Francis over immigration, and his wife Melania. A White House official said Trump had a very productive meeting before the ceremony with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. A photo showed the pair sitting opposite each other on chairs inside St. Peter's Basilica. Another image showed them together with the British Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, and French President, Emmanuel Macron. Trump and Zelensky were also expected to meet after the Mass. Other guests included the former U.S. President Joe Biden, who last met Francis at the G7 summit in Puglia last June, the Argentinian President, Javier Milei, the European Commission President, Ursula von der Leyen, and Prince William. More than 2,000 journalists from around the world traveled to Rome to cover the event. The 90-minute Mass was celebrated by 220 cardinals, 750 bishops, and more than 4,000 priests.